Welcome to MindCep, where we journey through the realms of mind and body to unlock the full potential of human wellness. Join your host, Alex Muir, as we explore transformative health hacks, debunk myths, and empower you with knowledge straight from the experts. Dive into each episode ready to flex your mind, body, and soul, because your ultimate well-being journey starts right here.
And we're live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the MindCep Podcast. This is your host, Alex Muir, helping you flex your mind, body, and soul. In today's episode 114, we're going to be speaking with the founder and CEO of Fighting is Easy, Coach John Ludo-Kumper. John, appreciate you coming on the MindCep Podcast. Super pumped that got to connect with you and was referred to you from Anthony. So I'm super stoked to have you on. Trying to have more people on that are in the health and wellness space, talking about building a better body. But while we're building a better body, we're also trying to, optimize our mind, right? And the way that you do that is in a way that's, building mental toughness and physical toughness through your coaching academy for mixed martial arts. So welcome to the show. Happy to have you on, and let's dive right in.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here. I do this all the time. This is what we do in Muay Thai to say, it's a greeting and it's also a thank you. So I appreciate
Absolutely.
it. So I'm glad to be here today.
No, totally. And then how did you come up with the slogan, life is hard, but fighting is easy for your business?
Yeah. So there's a story there. It's a long story, but I'll shorten it up a bit. So I started in martial arts when I was very young, when I was about 7 years old. My parents saw that I had a lot of energy, but I also had a lot of aggression or anger and stuff like that. So they tried different things, but martial arts was really the only thing that would get me to follow directions. So get me on the straight and narrow path. So I did anything so I started in karate, taekwondo. I got my second dan black belt. Then I went to Muay Thai. So I found Muay Thai in college at the same time that I found I was in school for mechanical engineering.
Oh.
So I would say martial arts, Muay Thai kind of got me through school. So then I went on. So I projected my life to be I was going to be a professional fighter. I was going to travel to Thailand. I was going to do all this stuff. And then I got hit with a big concussion. And there's a fork in the road where you can go either two different ways. So that thing, it took me out of training for a year. It took me out of almost everything. I had vertigo. I had all these different symptoms that I was trying to fight through to get back to training, but it just wasn't happening. So I switched to coaching, but through the tough times, I came up with that expression, life is hard, fighting is easy.
Wow.
And then,
that's crazy.
Yeah. So switched to coaching, wanted to spread what I learned from martial arts to other people. And I'd say that was around 2012. So I retired from fighting officially around 2012. And then I started with a t-shirt, just like this t-shirt brand.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So how long would you say you were fighting for in your fighting career versus when you made that shift? Because we're in 2020, so 12 years as Fighting is Easy,
right?
Coaching academy, and then before that, since age 7. So was it 15 years of fighting or 10 years of fighting or?
Yeah, I mean officially Muay Thai, I did around 7 years. But before that, I did a bunch of different tournaments. I did taekwondo tournaments, karate tournaments. So, I mean, probably from age 10. I'm 41 now.
Wow.
So from age 10, I've been in there just trying to test my, martial arts is all about testing yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, not so much the other guy, they're going to come in, do what they do, but you're in there to test yourself. And that's always what I wanted to do.
Yeah, I love that. And when I was watching some of your content, I was and you're teaching this young guy, you look like he was 15 or really young.
Yeah.
And just you're what you're doing. Your technique is I'm holy smokes, and I like how you also had a piece of content on, because where you're from, right? In New York, there's been a lot of violence. There's been a lot of like, especially even more so since COVID, I feel like, because people are just, they're down, they're depressed, they're upset, they're angry. And people are taking out all that frustration on other people. But a lot of times they're doing it not for any specific reason. Like usually there's motive, usually there's like a reason behind it, but, or they've got a lot of underlying issues going on. But in this case, when you were showing me some, or when I was looking at some of your content, there's like people that were like hitting women randomly on the streets, and then so then you had a class. It showed like someone had the camera, and then you were in your class and you're teaching like self-defense for women, which is huge.
Yes.
So yeah, why don't you speak a little bit about that and like how that training and those classes that maybe help some people that are, you know, trying to defend themselves if they're walking alone at night, or like the buddy system, right? How you're encouraging the buddy system and like, you know, that kind of a thing.
Yeah. New York, like you said, since the pandemic has been crazy. That came straight from the news, that in those incidents you were talking about. So guys were just going around, I think mixture between just being no outlet since like the pandemic, people have been stuck inside. And then people, I don't know, feel like they're controlled by whatever authority they think they're controlled by. And they just didn't have an outlet. So they decide, let's record ourselves just punching old people or punching ladies, or, you know, these are people that can't defend themselves.
Yeah.
Like, but there's some people that are, you know, they're just off. There's always been like that in New York.
Yeah.
You know, people on the street, you just leave them alone normally, and you know, they'll yell, but they'll leave you alone.
Yeah.
If you feel uncomfortable, you know, go to a group of people.
Yeah.
Or like you said, buddy system, or walk to the other side of the street. But there are those people out there that just want to cause like violence and mayhem. And you got to learn how to defend yourself properly against those kind of people.
Yeah. Because like, it's like, I know the pandemic caused a lot of extra fear. And people that are like, let's say already introverted, it caused them to go into more of a shell. And they felt more isolated and maybe even more helpless. So I feel like learning how to defend yourself, learning how to fight, like my dad taught me, and he was like, he taught me more boxing.
Oh, good.
But he said, he's like the most powerful thing, like these are the most powerful thing if you know how to use them. They're absolutely like, they can wreak havoc on someone's life. Like, but you want to do it in the right way. You want to do it like he's like, Alex, you'll never have to go looking for trouble. He's like, I don't want you to you be going looking for trouble. He's like, trouble will always come looking for you. And if you know how to defend yourself, right, it's a weapon. Like your fists are a weapon. And like, I know there's like guns and stuff like that, gun violence as well, which is a totally different topic. But when like young kids are learning how to defend themselves and they know how to use their fists, it's like, it's a whole different level. Right. So, so
using these, 100%, but also like using your brain,
using your mind.
So like, so street smarts, way different than, you know, what you learn in college.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So you got to like, especially in New York, you got to keep they say keep your head on a swivel.
Yeah.
Not to say you got to be paranoid all the time, but you just got to look around.
Yeah.
You just got to make sure that you're safe. But the other thing is just what martial arts brings, what self-defense brings, is a level of confidence that I see a lot of people like lacking. Like for example, one student came into me, like he always thought everyone was picking a fight with him, just because like they were looking at him. And what I'm trying to show him is that, are they picking a fight with you, or are you like, is it in here, or is it up here, right? So once you have that confidence, once you can say like, yeah, I can walk the streets and like I can use these if I need to, but if I don't need to, you know what? I got the confidence. I don't got the ego. That's another thing in New York, is ego. Guy brushes by you or something like that, all of a sudden you want to fight him. Like,
Yeah, it's not picking a fight with you because he brushes by you. Yeah, yeah. And
yeah,
I feel like a lot of young men when they're younger, like maybe you went through some stuff, you have a chip on your shoulder, you're trying to navigate life, and maybe you didn't have guidance from mom. Maybe in the household you didn't have a dad, or you didn't have a mom, or both. So I feel like there's a lot of down or upset or depressed
yeah,
men that they just like yourself, like they have a father like figure that comes into their life, or it's just giving someone that's giving them more guidance. Like, hey, I
yeah,
see this emotion that you have. If you channel it in the right direction, it'll send you on a way better path than the one you think that you're going on. That's you think it's a path, but it's not a path. It's going to send you in the wrong direction. So
yeah.
I feel like young
Got it.
adolescents and young kids, if they can get into, yeah, like sports super early on, doesn't matter what it is. Um,
Yeah,
not something necessarily I mean, I've always been kind of that obsessive mentality. Like once I really like something, I like
yeah.
it a
I'm the
lot.
same way. Yeah,
Or conversely, I'm like, if I don't like something, I don't like it at all. I'm like, I'm not doing it. So,
yeah. That
but
was me,
yeah.
100%. I'm
So
with you.
having an outlet, a healthy outlet, especially when you're joining like a training academy, like it's such a like when I joined the boxing, I didn't even do it for that long, but it was like I was drenched from head to toe. It's the best
Yeah,
thing for a young man. It's the best thing for a
that's
young
it,
woman,
man.
right? It's like just go in, dive into your training, like follow a regimen, and it's so good for you, right? Like kind of that military style training, but you're in a supportive environment, right? Where everyone's
Exactly.
watching out for not one another, and not only does you build confidence in here, but then when you leave, that confidence stays with you, and then it can be built in other areas. So I feel
Yeah,
like that's
no,
what you're trying to do with your academy is like, build people from the ground up from where they're coming from, and then giving them those life tools that, hey, like life is it's not easy, it's hard,
yeah,
but with the training in your academy, it's going to be building better human beings for the future.
yeah. And no, you hit it right on the head. And especially, so not only is it important to find a school, but you got to find the right school. So if you're going to an academy and you feel like the instructor just doesn't mesh well with you, find another place to go. Do your research, go online, find the right martial art for you. That's another thing. Like there's so many different martial arts out there. You can do anything from like, I mean, I've trained older people, even in Muay Thai, but then there's softer styles like Tai Chi, where if you just want to, move your body and like just learn how to connect kind of your mind and body, similar to yoga, there's martial arts to do that. But then there's a community, you join the right Muay Thai school. If you want to go in and fight and test your limits and get in there, you just got to know what you're getting into, right? So the right coach or the right crew, which they call crews like a master,
Yeah.
they will steer you in the right direction, and they will channel all that energy that you have, that you think you need to go out. They'll say like, my coaches were always adamant about not fighting outside of the gym. They would say, we don't care about your ego. We don't care about any of that stuff you got going on. If we catch you, if we hear you fighting,
Yeah.
you're not allowed to fight.
No.
So you can't go in there. You can't get your license. You can't get sanctioned to fight, and they'll just pull you.
Yeah. Because again, like it's a weapon, right?
Yeah.
And if you use
Same
it in the
thing with,
wrong way, it's not good. So
yeah,
got to be
with
used in
drink,
the
with
right
like,
environment in the right way.
yeah, drugs and alcohol as well. Like they find that because it's kind of like, I would define going in to a fight as like a sprint for like 2 to 3 minutes straight, with very, very let rest in between, but also having to guard yourself from attacks and then projecting to know what to do in the future, like kind of like human chess.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Fighting
to
is like
do,
human chess. Yeah.
yeah, and to do all that all at once and come out winning, you got to be sharp. So if you're like you can be a hobbyist, but if you're a hobbyist, I'm not putting you in the ring to fight. You know what I mean? Your
Yeah.
safety is number one.
Yeah, because you've been doing it so long, like if someone like when they're not prepared or they're not mentally there, because you got to be physically there, but you got to be even more so mentally there, like because like you said, it's like you got to think steps ahead of where their attacks are coming from and where they're going.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
There's a lot to it. It's a lot more than, fans they just see on the TV, and
Yeah,
I hear them. They're like, why are you hugging each other? It's just
yeah,
funny things that people say sometimes.
yeah. And
There's
can you elaborate on your two-step approach? Show up and do not quit. How do these principles apply to everyday life? Because I know that's
Yeah,
a big part of your coaching academy.
yeah. So in training, like the obvious one is show up to training. So if you're not there better be like an emergency going on. So showing up to training, but showing up as your best self. So that's the rest of it. So you show up, you give your best in training, you hit the pads as hard as you can. You're doing your cardio, you're doing everything, you're doing your sit-ups and everything. There's that. But then you got to take that aspect, and then, if you have an office job, you got to show up there too. So you can't just be like, "Oh, I'm training 100% and then not show up there," because there's a balance. And don't quit. So you can lose, right? You can fail at something. So business is you fail all the time in
Yeah,
business. Like it's
yeah,
it's not an easy thing. But you only really, really fail if you give up. So quitting, like there's just no word. If a person says I can't, right, then I'm gonna be like, you're two steps from like heading out the door, because that doesn't exist. It's hard, right? You're gonna try. You're gonna try your best. If you don't make it to, I don't know, if I tell you to do 100 crunches and you make it to 90, like you're gonna take a break. You're gonna come back and do the next 10,
yeah,
because yeah. So that's it. Show up, don't quit.
yeah. No, I love that. Yeah, and and then it's teaching everyone in your academy, like everyone's got more gas in the tank than they think. Like David Goggins,
Yeah,
right? Like
always.
he says it in an extreme way, which I don't agree with
He's
everything he
he's,
says, but
he's next level.
he's next level.
Yeah,
But I get where he's coming from when he's like, everyone underestimates how much more they can give. And
right.
sometimes it just takes the right person like yourself to be like, no, I know you've got more in you. And just saying it like this, let's see what you got. Take a little breather. Let's get those last 10 to 15 reps in, or 5 reps in. And
Yeah,
then they know that they can do it, right? Like they just, you could be absolutely sore and in pain, but you give yourself that little bit of extra rest, and then it's like, holy, oh wow, I can do it. I can do it.
100%. Yeah, I learned those things. I did in my training regimen. I did a couple of marathons,
Whoa.
and yeah. So when you hit that wall in running, that's exactly where you are. Your brain is telling you all kinds of stuff. Like, why did you do this? Like, we're done. Just stop. Just walk. Like, what are you
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah.
Right? Let's go back home. But then you push through, and it might be just another like half a mile, might be another 10 steps. That's another thing, like David Goggins said. He's just like, just 10 more steps, just 10 more steps, just 10 more steps. And then you keep going and you break through, and all of a sudden you feel great. You feel amazing. And then you hit the finish line, and it's, yeah.
It's
Same. Yeah.
those endorphins that you get, right? Where, yeah, like you said, you're hitting that mental wall. So like when you're hitting the mental wall, let's say in the gym, or when you're doing that, was this a full marathon or a half marathon that you did?
I did two fulls. I did
Holy,
like 7 or 8 half marathons, and then a
wow.
bunch of other like 5 and 10Ks before that. But for me, it was always cross training towards
Right,
the fight. To
right.
me, I'm like, I gotta lose weight, because I was about 160 pounds, and I needed to fight at 140 or 145.
Wow.
So weight cutting is a whole nother thing
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
fighting we could talk about. But yeah, so that was always part of it. And I was in my head, I'm always like, there's another guy out there. He's training harder. He's training harder. He's training harder. He's training harder. And they're coming in to, kick your butt. I don't know if you can curse on this podcast.
You go ahead.
Well,
Yeah.
they're coming in to kick your ass,
Yeah.
pretty much. And my coach has always said, if you lose this fight because you didn't do enough stamina work, you didn't run enough, that's the easiest thing. It's easiest, but it's the hardest. It's hard when you're doing it, but it's easy to do. You just get out there and run. They were
Yeah.
like, we don't care how far, you just run every single day.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And that's why stamina, if you saw any of my fights, man, I went in there like I tried to go in there like a bulldozer and just like steamroll my opponents down.
Are they do you have some of your fights for sparring in the like on YouTube or just on your Instagram or?
So they're on my YouTube, but they were done so long ago.
Yeah.
My fight name was Luda because I had a big afro back then.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Ludacris.
Yeah.
So if you put in John Luda,
Yeah.
you'll find some of my fights up there.
Awesome. I have to see some of those because I've seen like you training others, but yeah, well, I definitely want to see some of yours as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then we already talked a little bit about like how combat sports and sports in general builds confidence in and outside the ring. How do you believe combat sports can improve overall health and quality of life as stated in your mission?
Yeah, so health, like if you start something like Muay Thai, you're using every single part of your body. When you see the Muay Thai, like Thai fighter throw a kick, you're using everything from like the tip of their toes to the core to everything. Try throwing 100 kicks on the bag a day, and you'll see very quickly how much you sweat, how many calories you start to burn. And on top of that, with Muay Thai, you are you're working really hard. Even in the class, you're working really hard. But then all of a sudden an hour goes by and you're not even thinking about it anymore. You're going to get tired. Like you're going to feel it, but you're having a lot of fun and you're learning a new skill. So there's all this happening. And then you're like, oh man, an hour went by, and you might check your watch and like, what was 700 calories burned or something? So that's the physical aspect. The mental aspect, you're always learning. Like even 20 plus years training Muay Thai, I learn new things from my students all the time. So I might learn something for someone came fresh off the street, right? So this is how like somebody who's not trained might do something. Like, because when you do something for a long time, boxing or Muay Thai or whatever, you kind of get into this systematic way, and then others are training like you. So you're kind of used to this thing. You go to a whole different school, or you train somebody who's not trained at all, they're going to do some things, and you can't be like, oh, that's against the rules, out in the street if you're defending yourself. Like, you got to know. So you're always learning. And quality of life. For me, like I would say martial arts and being married, like I have a family as well. So my family, main reason why like I started all this. But martial arts like saved me from going in a different direction. Like there's many instances where I could have, started something with this person that was like talking to me, like talking shit to me. And I could have been like, oh, I'm just going to knock him out right now. Right. And I feel good in the moment. But then is it worth it? Because then they could sue you.
Yeah.
Then they're gonna pull you to jail. Then they might pull my because I'm ranked as a crew in Muay Thai and also a second dan black belt in Taekwondo. And Jiu-Jitsu, I've been doing that like close to 10, 11 years. So they're going to look at me and they're going to say, hey, you got all these skills. Why are you beating people up?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So they're
Yeah.
not going to look at the other guy. The other guy might be 200 and something pounds,
Yeah.
but
But
they're going to Google my name and they're going to
yeah.
see it right away. So,
Yeah. Because you have all that knowledge, right? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No,
So,
totally. Yeah. It's like, uh, yeah, it's like knowledge is power, right? And when you
yeah.
especially when you have got knowledge in boxing, MMA, Muay Thai, like it's a skill. It's a life skill that you can have with you for the rest of your life, right? And
Yeah.
and once you learn it, you know it, and yeah. So
Yes, there's also an awareness that it brings. Like there's the knowledge of when not to engage. So like
yeah,
weapons are a it's a good example of that. Somebody's brandishing a pistol and I have all these martial arts skills. That doesn't give me the knowledge to disarm a weapon.
right.
So
Yeah,
there's sometimes you just gotta know like, hey,
yeah,
is it money you want? Right? Can I get home safely?
yeah,
That's one of the main things I teach in self-defense. Like you got to get back to your family. You got to get back home safely, right? You don't want to just engage in this unnecessary altercation.
no, yeah,
But
because it could,
sometimes
yeah,
you have to. Sometimes you have to.
yeah, no, for sure. And mm, yeah. So, who or what inspires you to continue coaching and spreading your message?
So yeah, I mentioned so my family. That's
Yeah, your
like
main motivator.
yeah, that's my main motivator. But outside of that, I think it's my belief. Like my mentor, my unknowing mentor was Bruce Lee. I looked
Oh
up to
yeah,
him not only for the fact with his sidekicks and his just martial arts were just above anyone I'd ever seen before, but he was able to take that knowledge to like Hollywood all the way from China and spread it to so many people. And then if it wasn't for him, like over here in the West, we wouldn't really know about kung fu the way we know about it now. They say like he was the original like mixed martial artist because he'd take different styles and blend them and then say be fluid about things.
yeah.
So my thing outside of my family is to have as many people learn some kind of martial art. It doesn't have to be Muay Thai, but some kind of martial art, some kind of self defense. And I just want to reach as many people as I can with that.
I love that. Yeah, like global reach, like let everyone know like the possibilities, right? Behind learning self-defense and navigating through life's trials and tribulations.
Yeah, and also to take away the just martial art as of just a violent thing
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they used to call it like when the UFC started, they just like labeled it human cockfighting.
Oh God.
And yeah, they just said, I mean, it was brutal back then,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
Have you seen them like the
Yeah,
original
yeah,
UFCs?
yeah. I'm like, oh my God, like they were going in there to kill each other. Like, yeah, like literally.
Yeah. So
And definitely gotten a lot better because before it, like when I was looking at, back then versus now, let's say whatever 80s and 90s fighting versus now, it's like I feel like there's a lot
way
more,
different.
yeah, way different. Definitely a lot more respect. Like people know like how brutal like you can hurt someone, and it's not about hurting the other person. It's about fighting for yourself, fighting for your family. Like it's kind of a different. I feel like it's a different mentality. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there is a level of like you have to be, I'd say, a little bit different to
Yeah.
go in there.
You do. Yeah.
And yeah, it's not a thing. When I was in the fight game, all I would do and think about was just fighting. So, you know, I trained with my team, but we were like a family. So we'd go to the bars on the weekends, or we'd go support each other for fights. So there was that community there. But we all knew like we had each other's backs. and everything like that. But with like when we go out to watch UFC fights, like we know what's going on, other
Yeah.
people might not, and
Yeah.
we'd be the ones that were sitting there kind of like with our waters, not drinking that much, and then seeing like stuff happen around us, like people getting into fights for no reason. Like, yeah,
Yeah. Just because there's a fight going on. I remember hearing about that too. Like that from time to time, like when there's a fight going on, then it gets some people riled up and
it
they actually
does.
want to
Yeah,
fight. It's
yeah,
just like, it's like, I don't understand that. I'm like, just because I want to watch, you know, something semi-violent doesn't mean I'm a violent person. It just means, you know, it's a sport. It's like it's like something that you want to watch.
yeah. I mean, it goes back to gladiator days in
Yeah.
Rome.
Yeah.
People used to gather and
Watch
watch
gladiators
people.
kill each other.
Exactly. Yeah,
So in a way, we haven't really we've progressed, but people still want to see controlled violence
they do.
in a controlled environment. So it's like, yeah, it's like you said, it is human cockfighting to a degree, but
To a degree, but
it's much more controlled, and they have gotten a lot better.
there's weight classes, there's rules,
Yeah,
a lot more rules now.
yeah.
Um, I watched some interviews with some of the old UFC guys,
Oh
and
yeah.
they say like, "Oh, you guys have gotten soft over the years," but from me, like coming from where I had a concussion and it like completely changed my life. I'm all for protecting, like especially my students. I got two guys that are gonna do their first fight coming up in September, so
Wow.
I got to make sure that they're ready, that they train
Yeah,
safely,
yeah,
but they also have that aggressiveness to go in there, and because it's not,
yeah.
there is a level to it. Like it's not a game when you get in
No,
there. Like
no.
they're kicking you and punch you in the head.
Yeah,
They're hitting you, But that's why I said you got to be different.
yeah, yeah. You got to be able to take that brute force and someone like coming at you from every single angle. So
Yeah, and
yeah,
still be able to maintain some kind of composure while you're doing
yeah,
that.
yeah. Because it could be
Yeah,
like flurry of punches and kicks coming from every which direction, and yeah, you got to be able to defend yourself. So
yeah. So like the fight or flight kind of
yeah,
mentality.
yeah,
Yeah, so most people they have that fight, freeze, fight, flight, or freeze. So when I'm teaching self-defense and people don't know, that's one of the first things that I teach them. I'm like, what happens if you get into a situation like, say, I put you on stage right now in front of 1,000 people, and the fear of public speaking. Like,
oh yeah,
are you
yeah,
gonna get into it, right? Or are you gonna run away, or are you just gonna freeze there?
yeah,
A lot of people like they'll freeze, and that's kind of what happens when you get hit in the face,
yeah,
like along with a lot of pain.
yeah,
So you're either gonna be like one of the people you get hit, and you're gonna hit them back, right? And then it's full fight mode,
yeah,
or you're gonna be like, boom, that hurt. I need to get away.
yeah,
So you're gonna try to escape, or you're gonna freeze up, and that's not something I want for anybody because
yeah.
you can't do anything at that point.
And these fighters of yours, that are going to be so are they going to be fighting for the first time this month?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it is
Okay.
this month. We're in September,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's gonna be this
Wow.
month.
Yeah. Tell me how that goes. Is it like mid-September or like next week or
No, end of September.
end of
So like,
September? Okay. So they still
yeah,
got some more time to train and stuff.
yeah. It's
How old are
crazy.
these kids?
So one is mid-20s.
Okay.
The other guy is like 34, 35.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, because I'm
Yeah,
31, so yeah. You can
yeah.
any age, right? Yeah.
It's never too late. It's
Yeah.
never too late.
So, but that's all the
You're
time we got for today there, John. I would love to do a part two, part three, expand on our interview and go way more in depth into the other questions. So where can our listeners find you and connect with you?
So they could find me on my website, fightingiseasy.com. So that's all one word, fighting is easy. My Instagram and TikTok are the same. I mostly post on Instagram, so they could find me there. From my website, they could just jump straight to the number at the top of the page and they can contact me. So I've been doing classes, but also I will come to you. I'm located in Astoria on Steinway Street, like you mentioned, but I can also come to you. I can do group self-defense. I can do group trainings and stuff like that.
Love it. Awesome. I'll send you the video of this. We'll get it all posted for this Friday, and then I'll send you the clips as well.
Awesome, man. Wow, they went by really quick.
Yeah, I did.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of MindCep. If you liked what you heard, be sure to subscribe, rate, and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. Your support helps us bring you more inspiring content and expert insights. Join our community on social media at mind.cep on Instagram, at mind-cep on YouTube, and visit our website, Alexander Muir, that's M as a Mike, UIR.com/blog for more exclusive resources and updates. Until next time, keep optimizing your mind and body, and see you in the next episode.